Okay, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to explain to you guys how to set up your image for your scratch art. So you should have picked up your supplies, and inside you have gotten a sandwich baggie like this, and inside is this black piece of like cardstock. It's kind of thick. This is your scratch art paper, okay? Now we're going to set this aside for a minute. There's two ways you can set up your image. The first way is if you have access to a printer. It can be black and white or color. It does not matter. What you will do is you will print out your image. You want it to fill up the whole sheet of paper. So if this is your normal standard computer size paper, you want the image to fill it up as much as possible. You do not want a tiny little image in the center or in the corner. We want to fill up the paper because we want to use our whole scratch board, not just a little section of it. So if you have access to a printer, you're going to print out your image as large as you can, color or black and white. It does not matter. Then once you have it printed, you're going to flip it over, and I already have some of it done, but you're going to take a pencil and you are going to shade the whole back in, all right? The whole thing. Now, this is just a regular pencil. It just doesn't have any wood. You're going to want to fill it in. I would not recommend using a mechanical pencil because you're just going to be doing that all day long. You just want a regular pencil, and you're just going to fill the whole thing in, okay? Oh. Try not to crease your picture up so much. I'm just trying to do this quickly. Okay, almost done. Okay, so you're going to fill the whole thing in with like pencil lead. All right, you don't have to smooth it out or anything like that. You just want it filled in like that. All right, then you're going to take your printed image and you are going to place it on top of your scratch board. You'll notice that they're the same size. They're 8.5 by 11. Your regular printer paper is 8.5 by 11, and so is your scratch art. Now, if you have some tape available to you, I would put 2 small pieces of tape to hold it in place, okay? Then, in your bag, I have given you 2 different things. I've given you a paper clip, and this is actually the scratch art tool. You're going to do one of 2 things. You're either going to take a regular pen, preferably a ballpoint. The fine tip gel pens might be a little too sharp, but just a regular ballpoint pen. It could even be like the little cheap ones, like the Bic ones or whatever, just a pen. Or you can use the tool, and you are going to outline your image. Now, this is why tape is really important, because it holds your image down. And so we're going to want to outline all the details. The more details you outline, the easier this is going to be. So I'm going to outline. Now, I'm just putting some pressure on here. I'm not putting enough to tear through the page, but I am creating this outline. So I'm not going to do the whole thing because I want you guys to see what it looks like. Anything that has like these dark shadow areas, you're going to want to outline. Any spots, okay? You're going to outline them. Now what this does, using this tool, is it causes it to actually show up. I know it's kind of hard to see. So what it does is it transfers the pencil, the graphite on the back, onto the scratch art. And this will allow you to actually follow along and scratch. So this is why having tape is really important, because then it always makes sure it lines back up when you start tracing again. So you'll want to trace your whole animal out, like the outside. For this cheetah in particular, I would outline all the spots, obviously like the eyes, the outside of the ears. Any major areas like these white highlights, I would outline as well. The more detail you add, the better. If you're not doing like the background, don't worry about it. This one, I would just stick with just the cheetah. I wouldn't worry about the background, maybe some of the blades of grass in the front. And then you want to keep your picture because it's going to be your reference, because this area here is black, so I know I don't want to add too many lines there. So this would be your reference. So that's how you set up your image if you have access to a printer. You can see that it's significantly easier. Now, if you don't have access to a printer, but let's say you want to draw this image, I would have this image up on my computer screen. So I'm going to pretend that it's up on my computer screen. Then you would take just a regular, don't do it on top of your scratch art. You're going to take a regular piece of paper and a pencil, and you're going to have to kind of draw this out as best as you can, okay? Now, obviously, I'm just going to do a quick sketch because I don't want to have you guys sitting here watching me draw for an hour. So you're going to sketch out your cheetah or whatever image. Make sure it looks good. Spend time sketching it out, okay? Because this is going to be what you're going to transfer over. If you have some way to kind of trace it, you can trace it, but you need to use the paper and you need to sketch out your drawing. So I'm not going to spend the whole time, but this is going to be my drawing, okay? You're going to sketch it out. Then you're going to do the exact same thing. You're going to fill this all in. You're going to shade it all in, and you're going to do the exact same thing that we did with the printed picture. You're going to place it on here, and then you're going to use the wooden scratch art tool to trace it, okay? So the only difference between the two methods is this one you get to just print it out. This one you're going to have to draw it out, okay? So if you don't have access to a printer, that's totally fine. Just draw it out as best as you can so you can transfer the image over. Then instead of using your drawing as a reference, like we can use this printout as a reference, you're going to have the image on your computer screen as your reference, okay? So that is how you set up your drawing so you can start your scratch art. Once you have your drawing done, you're going to transfer the whole image over so it's all outlined on here. Do not start scratching yet. You want to make sure everything, all the details are transferred over. So it's kind of similar to tracing, but it's more of technically a transfer,